strong.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Hope with Jonathan tonight. I appreciate everybody tuning in to this very special interview tonight that we're having with Tatiana Tagirova and my special co-host on here tonight with me, DeAngelo Crawford from Portland, Oregon, and advocate Jeff Brown from AEU. Or did I say that right? I said that wrong. UAE. I'm sorry, guys.
UAE, yeah. I'm in Abu Dhabi. It's 4:06 a.m. Friday morning. Hold on, let me wipe the sleepies from my eyes.
Man, Jeff, your dedication to this is so amazing, man. I can't imagine getting up that early to do these interviews.
Yeah, well, it's basically, I mean, I can go back to sleep afterward. That's my day off, but yeah, it's something I'm willing to do, especially for people that we advocate for. You know, we want to be able to see Tatiana get exposure and a step closer to finding a kidney donor.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Yep, that's why we do these. That's why we're so committed to what we're doing, and we want to help somebody in need, help somebody receive the gift of life from transplant, get a living donor. So, DeAngelo, how you been doing, brother?
Oh, I've been good. Just hanging in there, getting stronger every day.
Yep. So, guys, tonight we have a very special guest, Tatiana. She's from the North Carolina area. She's currently battling kidney disease, currently in center hemodialysis 3 times a week. She's in need of a living donor. Her information is scrolling below on the banner bar down there, the ticker. As you can see, she has a Facebook page, guys. Tatiana Needs a Kidney. We'd like for you to go there and please like that page and to follow her and her journey for finding a living donor as well. Also, her transplant information is scrolling down below as well. The phone number to her transplant coordinator and her hospital. And guys, we want to bring her on as quickly as we can. Anybody have anything else that they would like to add before we bring on our guest?
Nope.
Let's do this.
All right. Let's bring on Tatiana. Hello, Tatiana. How are you?
Hi, good.
Welcome to a show, Hope with Jonathan.
Thank you.
Tatiana, I'd like for you to tell everyone out there where you're located at.
I am currently located in North Carolina. I've lived here for 10 years now.
Okay. And
So you've been there 10 years. So where were you moving from when you arrived there in North Carolina?
Well, I'm originally from Russia. I came to the United States in 1993. So I have lived here in the United States for about 26 years. I have also lived in Puerto Rico for 9 years.
Really?
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, my son was born in Puerto Rico.
Do you speak Spanish as well?
Yes, I did not officially learn it, but I pretty much understand everything and can speak basic Spanish.
Okay, so you can get by with it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I lived in Germany for 6 years, and I had to learn to speak German. And I live in Abu Dhabi, UAE, in the Middle East, and so I at times have to get by with Arabic, you know.
And where do you currently live?
Yeah, so I live in Abu Dhabi, which is about an hour's drive south of Dubai, and it borders UAE borders Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
So how is the atmosphere over there? Like,
I mean, it's very laid back. Well, I mean, we've had very, I would say, pretty consistent and tight restrictions in the pandemic. You know, as far as enforcing the social distancing and wearing a mask, and we had to wear the gloves with the mask for the longest time until just recently, the last couple months. But
Yep. So Tatiana, where are you from originally? What country?
Russia, but I have lived in US for 26 years, right? You know.
Okay.
But I'm originally from Russia, yeah.
This is quite an adjustment to move from Russia to the States, huh?
Well, it has been a long time. I don't even know what Russia is anymore. Don't really follow much. There is a singer that I really like from Russia, but that's about it. You know?
Yeah.
But I like Russian literature, music, you know, and the contemporary singer that I really like. Yeah.
Okay.
But
not the weather. Cold here.
Yeah. And I was born in Siberia, but I was only like 2 years old when we moved. And supposedly it was like very cold and very hot.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yep. I have a couple of Russian dolls at the house, the ones that you can take apart and they have other dolls inside of them. Yeah, they're really cool. So you've been battling kidney disease. Why don't you tell everyone about how you got diagnosed with kidney disease?
Well, my father passed away in Russia in 1991, and he didn't go into, like, I'm 47, my father was 53. And he didn't have kidney failure. He had a stroke, and then he passed away a year later. And when they did the autopsy, they determined that it was a polycystic kidney disease. So then we had to do an ultrasound, and that's how I found out that I had it too. So I think I was like 18 when I found out, but it didn't do anything. Like, it didn't manifest till I gave birth to my son. So then when I started like having issues, and 3 years ago, I went into kidney failure, and I was able to hold off dialysis for 2 years, but you just kind of really feel very tired when you're like under 20%. You know, and they put you on the list when you are 20%, when your kidney function is at 20%, they will place you on the list. So they did place me on the list, but I was still able to hold off dialysis for 2 years. And then I have done dialysis now for a year.
Okay, so what type of dialysis are you currently doing?
I'm doing it in the center, like 3 times a week. I had to have, like, first they tried to do fistula and it didn't work. And then I had a graft. And then I already had like 2 surgeries on my graft because some issues.
Yeah.
It's just not easy.
Oh, no, it's not at all.
Were you able to try peritoneal
So you're still...
I'm sorry, DeAngelo, what did you say?
I said, were you able to try peritoneal dialysis?
I don't have anybody to help me, so I decided to do it in the center. I never tried it at home. But what I'm understanding, like, it's not as hard on the body if you do it at home, right?
Yeah, that's for hemo and for peritoneal. It was just like, for me personally, with peritoneal, I couldn't sleep at night, so it was rough on me at work in the morning. But I mean, overall, it was okay, but I mean, I just didn't like that, and I didn't like that bloated feeling. But other than that, it was okay.
Were you able to work when you were on dialysis?
Yeah, I worked up until about 2 years ago, and then I got just too tired to where I couldn't do it anymore. And then once I got the transplant, I actually just landed a job this week, so going back to work.
Because I'm not able to work.
Right, and that is pretty common, sadly. You know, unfortunately, in our line of advocacy, we encounter that quite often, that the kidney warriors have to stop working, or you know, they get laid off, they lose their job, and that must be such a, you know, hardship.
Yeah, it's a downer.
Yeah, because I didn't even have like any money, because it takes time to, like in the United States, it takes time to get Social Security, disability. So like,
right, it does a long time.
Yeah.
I think like for 2 years I didn't even have any income, and then it's like Social Security, disability, which you earn anyway. You know, like you earn it.
Right.
Because like I have worked previously, I have worked for 14 years.
Yep. But what you get compared to what you get when you're working is just small chips compared to, you know, and it's hard to live on.
What did you say?
You out at 40% of what your pay was.
Yeah.
Right. And then the thing is, like Medicare, I'm 47, so like before like 65, supplemental is very expensive, like almost 500 for me. And actually I have a good plan for supplemental. And then Part B, I think it's like almost 700, you know, between Part B, D, and supplemental. And that's a lot of money. Like it's almost like half of your disability income.
Yeah.
So, and you still have mortgage to pay and other bills to pay.
I can actually help you out with that. If you want to reach out offline, I can actually help you out with that, get that cut way down.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sidebar after the broadcast, and get that straightened out. This is exactly the reason why we're lucky to have DeAngelo on board with this.
Oh yeah, I'm really proud. I'm really proud to have him. I think DeAngelo's a great co-host for sure.
And I appreciate everybody helping me, because it's just not easy. And in my case, like I don't have family. My only adult family who can help me. My only family is my son. He's 18, but he cannot really help me much, you know, because he's not an adult yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to college now. He just graduated from high school last year, right?
Yes, he was a salutatorian, the second best in his class. And he's studying like at the same where I am listed with the transplant center. It's Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That's where he goes to school. But he's busy with school. You know, it's like first year college. It's not easy. They're very busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my next question for you. Was where are you currently listed at?
Yes, I'm currently listed with University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Medical Center. And I already had like 5 people that tested for me in the last 3 years, but they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's hard for me to find a donor. Like I don't have antibodies, so it's like pretty much anybody can be my donor. But just for their own health issues, they didn't qualify. And currently, I have another person just found through Facebook. She's located in California, and they're currently testing her.
Okay.
But they told me like keep looking, because you never know if the person will qualify or not. So they said like keep looking like actually in the surgery, because people like the donor process doesn't wish to be a donor. You never know, you know.
Exactly, and your nephrologist or whoever it was on that transplant team that recommended to continue looking, that was very sage advice, very wise advice, because any number of things can happen along the way in the testing process that would preclude that person from moving forward as a donor or disqualify that person as being your donor. So it's always wise to get as many people to come forward and in the testing process as you possibly can. You know.
Yes.
So like I'm not able to work, but I do sell Mary Kay to help me with this insurance costs. So like that's all I'm able to. But I'm not able like to go like to an official job. I used to teach college for 15 years, but I cannot do that anymore.
Wow, that is impressive though.
Yeah.
And where did you teach college?
University of Puerto Rico, and then Elizabeth City State University.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow,
So
that's impressive.
What subject?
Writing and literature.
Okay.
So
we gotta get you a donor so you can get back to doing your teaching again.
But I'm glad you're feeling better, like Jonathan and Jonathan. How long you have recently had a transplant, right?
On the 11th of this month, it'll be 6 months. Thanks be to God.
You're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We want to help you get there any way we can.
So, DeAngelo, do you feel like you are okay to like be able to work now?
Yeah, I'm like itching to get back to work and actually like contributing into society again. I hate being like just a bump on the log, so I'm itching to get back to work and actually like concentrating and throwing some more money towards this food truck and building that up.
So, I mean, you're exactly how many weeks removed from your kidney transplant again, DeAngelo? Is it 6 weeks?
It'll be 7 weeks. 7 weeks today.
7 weeks. Now, I mean, that's quite an amazing turnaround of a recovery. I mean,
yeah, it sure is.
How's
your lab been? Your lab's been pretty stable.
My lab's been great. Nothing's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And not out of the ordinary. Everything's been stable. Like I said, I just went to the doctor today and everything was normal. So yeah, we're good to go.
That's awesome.
Did you need someone to help you after the transplant? Like, how much help did you need, DeAngelo?
I mean, I sat around the house. Keitra, my girlfriend, she gave me some help and stuff and made sure I could actually get around and do the things that I need to do. But mostly I sat around and just healed up and made sure I wasn't doing any sudden movements to have any pain or anything like that.
Yeah. For me personally, my wife helped me the first couple of weeks. She cooked all my meals and made sure I was taken care of. But yeah, I didn't really need any help getting up and getting around though, or anything like that. She made sure that I had my meals cooked and stuff like that. But I mean, by the second or third week, I was back out trying to walk again and do all that type of stuff. And then now I'm better than what I was before I had transplant. So it just takes a little bit of time. I think it's kind of a case by case basis. So
how about did you have to go to the hospital 3 times a week for blood work, or someone came to your house?
Yeah, I had to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital twice a week.
Yeah, I went the first couple of weeks. They'll have you coming twice a week, and then once you get pretty stable with the numbers, they'll release you to go into like a lab in your local city or closer. Or see, I'm an hour away from my transplant center, so I go get my blood work at a local laboratory here, and I do that every 2 weeks now. And soon enough, I'll be probably monthly. And then they'll keep pushing it like 90-day, and then I guess eventually it'll be like maybe annually. I'm not sure. They haven't really told me yet. So.
Did you feel well like right after the transplant? You felt much better?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I could tell immediately it was, immediately was a great feeling. So,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah,
they told me that as soon as they hooked up the kidney, it started functioning immediately. So I
yeah,
guess everything took really well, and I was filling up the catheter bottle that they gave me. I was getting full and overflowing and stuff. So I
yeah,
guess it's working pretty well.
yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, Tatiana, what type of support system do you have right now? You said your son, he's
Yeah,
kind of
well, my
bit.
son is busy with his studies, but if I have a transplant, like, of course, he'll help me, like, bring me meals. But in terms of rides, like, he cannot help me because he's there, which is like Chapel Hill, and it's 4 hours away from where I live. So I had to find like friends to help me.
Yeah,
So like I had like a group of people that said like maybe about 5 people that said they would give me rides because in my case like I would need rides to and it's 4 hours away.
yeah.
And I was thinking because I don't know if I mentioned to you, I'm also trying to get listed with another center in Richmond, Virginia, because they have a lesser waiting time
Okay.
for a deceased donor, but it's also like 4 hours away, so it's about the same distance. So
Okay.
like that's why like I found like 5 people that can possibly give me a ride, that they said they would give me rides.
Mm-hmm.
And we was thinking like stay there maybe for a week or two. Like they have a family house at Chapel Hill where patients can stay. And I think they have similar arrangements in Richmond. They have a
You're
hospitality house.
right. They should. Every transplant hospital, well, your social worker or your transplant coordinator should be able to give you the advice for that. But every transplant hospital has some sort of place where you could stay like that, and family members. When my wife had her transplant in Boston, uh, they had one, and she actually stayed there for about 2 months afterward, and that's because you know they didn't want her to leave country. They wanted her to be able to see her doctor, the surgeon that operated on her, and the team consistently for weeks afterward until they released her to go back to Abu Dhabi, in the UAE. And that's where she stayed, was at a patient hotel right there in the vicinity. I mean, I think it was walking distance, but of course they had a shuttle bus that would pick up patients and take them to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So you're also listed in Virginia, you say, or West Virginia.
No, I'm just trying to get listed with them. It's in Richmond, Virginia. They have less waiting time for a deceased donor.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense because
Yeah.
that gives you options. Also gives you, a little more exposure to where you're not leaning upon just one transplant facility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the living donor, Chapel Hill is currently testing the living donor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What blood type are you?
I am B positive.
Okay.
Okay, so since you're B, then that means you can accept O as well, right?
Yes, B and O. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The problem has been 5 people tested for me but didn't qualify. It's hard to find a healthy person, and sometimes people call me, but they don't really understand. Like some of them think it's like giving a blood to give a kidney, but it's much more complicated process than that. To be a living donor.
Right.
Yeah.
If it were
Yeah.
if it were only that easy, right? I mean, and yeah, and it's more than just being a compatible blood type as well. I mean, you have to be healthy, and let's face it, we're in America, or well, I'm not, but in America, most people are not healthy after a certain age because of the eating habits.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really is based. I truly believe on eating habits, and if we were all raised from an early age up to eat healthy, uh, then maybe all these problems that lead to diabetes, high blood pressure, maybe they wouldn't be so bad, And who knows? Maybe even polycystic kidney disease wouldn't rear its ugly head until much later in your life, or maybe not at all.
Yeah. Like my father was 53 in Russia, and he didn't go into kidney failure.
Wow.
But medically, it's hard to say. Like I understand what you're saying about the diet. Like yes, like I agree with it. But in some cases, it can be like you can still have the best diet and still, it all depends. Like I think it's just
it would still definitely be there. I totally agree with you on that. But I think we can hold it off, keep it at bay, and it wouldn't progress in the stages to stage 5.
Well, for people with polycystic kidney disease, a lot of times family history, it's going to probably happen if it's going to happen. But I think what Jeff is referring to, like people with chronic diabetes and hypertension, the preventable diseases that cause kidney disease can be, we can help keep that at bay if we, follow a proper diet and exercise and things like that. So I see what he's talking about.
DeAngelo, what did you want to say? I'm sorry, I think I interrupted you.
Oh no, you didn't interrupt me. I was just saying that hygiene plays a big factor too, like with like your oral hygiene and stuff. That plays a big factor because when you go to the dentist and they see you have infections, you feel being a donor as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like with the donors, and it's not only just physical health; it's also mental health.
Yeah.
And it could be, if they smoke, if they're overweight, if they took drugs, there are so many factors. And then they call you, and I think most of them don't realize like all these factors, drugs, smoking, weight, mental health, physical health. And I had like some people calling me, but like, I could tell, like they didn't even have to call my center. Like I knew they wouldn't qualify,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
can I ask?
If you really, go ahead, DeAngelo. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was just, how many friends or family members do we have, that don't have anything on that list? I mean, so it really does short list. When you go down the list of kidney disease requirements to be a donor, I mean, you go down the list. You have to check off that you don't have high blood pressure, that you don't have anxiety, you don't take any sort of medication for depression. It's a long list of things, and it really does short list who can be qualified.
Yep. And you know what I found out is that people. I'm sorry, DeAngelo. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'll wait.
No, let DeAngelo speak. Yeah. Go ahead, DeAngelo.
Go ahead, DeAngelo. I'm sorry.
Ask you. Oh no, it's okay. I was just gonna ask you. With the kidney, like the deceased donors, are you also looking at the high risk kidneys that like people who have like had a higher risk lifestyle, or are you just strictly like clean, never did anything before type of person? Is that the type of donor you're looking for, or are you looking at a mixture of both?
Well, I'm not sure. I know I have signed for hepatitis C, and I don't know if high risk donors they have hepatitis C. I am not sure, but I signed up like to agree to receive it from hepatitis C because they told me like it's curable. Like even if I get hepatitis C, like there is a miracle pill for that, and I'll be fine. And the waiting time like is shorter if you agree to receive it from hepatitis C donor.
Yeah, they said that, like, I know over here in Oregon, they had the high risk one where it was like people that had like been in prison or maybe engaged in like homosexual activity, things that like unprotected activity, things that put them at risk. So they do have that list, but they say they test them very thoroughly to make sure they don't have anything. And if they do have something, like you said, like hepatitis C, they can pretty much knock that out with a couple of doses of some medicine that they give you or something like that. But
yeah, I agree to that, because the statistics, like I think 50% of the people die on dialysis. So if I can receive something, and like, it's better to live than die,
Exactly.
And especially, but is curable.
Yeah.
Right. Can you say that percentage again?
I
that
don't
percentage
remember
again?
where I read it, but it's like 50% of the people that are waiting for a kidney, for a transplant, will not get a transplant, and they will die on dialysis waiting.
Yeah. I think I read 54%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think it was there like 1 in 11 die waiting on a transplant daily, something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple people pass while I was on dialysis in center, so definitely true.
Yep. Yeah. What I was gonna say about the transplant, and I've lost my train of thought. So Jeff, you go ahead.
Well, the statistics on kidney disease, it's staggering. Okay, I mean, 1 in 9 people with chronic kidney disease, adults that is, won't even know he or she has it. First of all, right? And there are people that die of kidney disease. I think the average is like 13 people every day die of kidney failure while on dialysis. Of the 100 and like roughly 14,000 people who are on the organ transplant list, 90, I think it's like 95% of those people are waiting for a kidney.
Yep.
It's a difficult life to live that Tatiana lives, folks. So
yes. I remember now what I was going to say. So I remember when people went in and testing for me to be a possible donor, it actually saved one lady's life. So it's not always a bad thing when people go in to get tested, even though they can't become your donor. What happens is sometimes it'll actually save that person's life, because they find out that either they got an issue that needs to be resolved very quickly. Like in this lady's situation, she had an issue with her heart, and they had to go in and put a pacemaker in and all this. And because she went and tested for me, she found out about her heart condition. So, it can actually help people in the long run to go in and even get tested, because you just never know what they may find, because the testing is pretty in depth of what they're going to do. So just keep that in mind.
And I always think, like, when we do something good for others, the good comes back to us.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Oh, totally.
Hey guys, we've had a lot of people watching, a lot of people commenting. We really appreciate all the support. Vicky Love, my mom, has been watching. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate your support. Donna Tassat has been watching. She's a kidney advocate herself, and she has a question. Do you have any issues with your blood pressure?
Yeah, after my son was born, I started to have high blood pressure, and that's related to polycystic kidney disease. And now on dialysis, I don't know if you guys had a similar experience. Like, my blood pressure was high, then it was low, then it was high, now it's low again. I don't know if you. So it can fluctuate on dialysis. Like, the blood pressure can fluctuate. Right now, like, it's normal. Like, I don't take pills, but it used to be high.
Yeah,
interesting.
Fluid restriction. As long as you keep that fluid restriction in place, it usually keeps your blood pressure pretty low too.
What did you say?
I said as long as you keep your fluid restriction in place, that usually keeps your blood pressure pretty low too.
So right now it's good.
It's kind of an accumulation of things. Like it could be effect of fluid, like maybe they're pulling too much fluid off, and you're and your blood pressure tanks on you, or maybe you're taking too much blood pressure medication and they have to adjust your blood pressure medication. I was on 3 different blood pressure medications at one time. And then as they slowly progressed me in dialysis, they took me off of 1. And then as I went on the home hemodialysis, I was only on 1. And then now that I got my kidney, I'm not currently taking any blood pressure medication, which is totally amazing.
Isn't that amazing? My wife's reason for chronic kidney disease was high blood pressure. And just like you, Jonathan, after transplant, she didn't have to. She hasn't had to take any high blood pressure medicine whatsoever.
Yeah. It's amazing what diet and exercise can do for you. I'm telling you, it's a life changer, and a kidney transplant.
But if you've been doing that in the first place, transplant would have been necessary.
That's true too. And amen, DeAngelo. Amen, brother. Amen.
Let's underscore that. So if you're watching this, folks, please comment and crush the share button. Let's spread this all over social media. Don't stop at Facebook. Move on and share it on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok too.
Hey, we appreciate Alexis Garcia watching. Thank you, Alexis. Vicky Love, I've already mentioned her. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. Kyle Hawkridge from Toronto, Canada is watching. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you. Donna Tassat, Rosetta McLeod. We've got a lot of people commenting. Appreciate all the feedback, guys. A lot of people watching. So, yeah, like Jeff said, smash that share button. Don't be stingy. Smash it.
So how did you decide to help others? Did you all get together, or how did you find each other?
Well, Jeff's brother.
That's a very good. Well, there you go. So, thank you, DeAngelo. So, DeAngelo got introduced to my twin brother, and you were on the Warriors Quest show, right, DeAngelo?
Yeah.
And how was your experience on Warriors Quest?
It was great. I mean, it was fun. It was definitely like a time to share your story and get it out there and actually answer questions that people may have that they weren't sure of and things like that. So I mean, it was definitely a eye-opening experience, and it made me more interested. I knew I wanted to be a kidney advocate after I got my transplant. But then once I got the taste of it and then got the transplant, a few weeks after I was on the show, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm all in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were dialed in. And right after, I guess we found out that there's not a manual that they hand you at a transplant at the transplant hospital. Your transplant coordinator just tells you, hey, look, contact your friends, your family members first, your friends, find a living kidney donor. But there's not a manual that they hand you that says, hey, look, follow this manual. This is how you go about finding a living kidney donor, And because of my wife's high PRA rate, which made it a lot more difficult for her to find a living kidney donor, we went through countless, innumerable donor candidates, and it was becoming very frustrating. So we came to a point, my twin brother and I, where, and I owe my twin brother Jared a lot of, I'm indebted to him because he came up, he stepped to the plate and he's the one that actually created the Facebook page for my wife. And from there, he and I, as a tag team, advocated for my wife. And I guess after she received her transplant in 2018, people people noticed how we advocated for her, and they started knocking on our door, so to speak, contacting us via Facebook, on social media, and asking us if we would advocate for them. And you know what? We never really thought about that we would do that. You know, we never really formulated a plan post-transplant for my wife, because it just came about so suddenly, her transplant. And but guess what? We couldn't say no. We couldn't just stand on the sidelines and watch as other people struggled to find a living kidney donor. We knew how hard it was, and that there is no manual to follow. There's not an instruction manual.
No, that's a hard question to ask people.
Did you have it from a living donor, Jonathan?
Jonathan?
No, Jeffrey, I'm sorry.
Okay, so my wife's donor was a deceased donor.
Yeah.
And that was actually kind of amazing.
And you know, like one time I had like a bad experience. Like some of them like don't have good intentions. You know, like some of these candidates that contact you. One of them said like I'm supposed to help like build up his business if he were to be my donor. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not required to do that. You know, it's supposed to be like unconditional. You know, like I'm not supposed to do anything for you. Like if you want to do it, you do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it.
So wait a minute. So are you saying that this dude tried to barter his kidney for business attention?
Yeah, that's how I felt. He said, "Well, are you gonna help me find clients?"
Yeah.
I said, "I can try, but I'm not required to."
Look,
we call
it is amazing, you know. After years and years, and I've been advocating now actively since 2016. I've seen all sorts of people come forward, right? But even in the United States, you will see people come forward and do this sort of thing. Even today, of all days, I saw something come up on one of the kidney disease groups, where this man who's in search of a living kidney donor, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus or drop a dime, but he himself is in need of a living kidney donor in the United States, and he wanted to use his services as a mechanic, right, or a truck that he has. He wanted to do a trade-off of his services and or his truck for a kidney donor, for a kidney.
Yeah, because that's against the law in U.S. It's against the law to ask for money or to offer money. Even I understand, even for them to ask about something like that is against the law. So I felt uncomfortable with the donor. And then he said, "Oh, I'm not sure. Well, if I do that, you have to do that." And I'm like, "No, I don't have to do anything. If you don't want to, you don't want to, you know?" And then I just told my center that I don't feel comfortable with this candidate. Could we go to the next one? You know?
Yeah, it's also highly unethical. So if you believe in that, you have no business, being involved with organ donation, because it's unethical to have to buy one. Either you give it out of the goodness of your heart, or you don't give it at all. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bottom line, you're looking for a donor, and by the sheer very definition of the word donor, it means it's going to be a donation. It surprises me how many people misinterpret that.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
But to answer your question, Tatiana, on why I started Hope with Jonathan, I started Hope with Jonathan and doing what I'm doing based upon my personal experience with kidney disease and my personal battle with kidney disease. I had a near-death experience with how I found it and all that. ended up in the ICU and all that stuff. And I woke up on a dialysis machine. So for me, it was apparent that I did something positive with that because I survived it. And because of that, I started Hope with Jonathan. I wanted to help other patients. First of all, try to help prevent things like this happening to other people. And then number two, I wanted to help people receive the miracle gift of life themselves. So that's the reason why I started Hope with Jonathan.
And like sometimes you're just feeling like so weak and so sick, like even to speak to the donors. And then if you have like a frustrating one, like the one I mentioned to you, like a potential donor, then it's just so hard because you're physically sick, you're looking for a donor, and then you like encounter trouble instead of a good donor.
Yeah.
It's easy, like it's like, if I ever get better, like I wouldn't mind like to speak to, like, I think, kidney failure patients, they need someone to like help them to talk to the potential donors. So like the potential donors would call someone else who understands the process, because not everybody understands the process, but someone who would understand it. So it's not like a sick person trying to like speak to this donor,
Right, and you know what, Tatiana, that's what we're here for. The three of us are on the page that DeAngelo, thank you very much, created for you. And when somebody contacts your page, Tatiana needs a kidney. When they contact that page, either myself or Jonathan or DeAngelo will answer someone who contacts your page and speak to them directly, so that you don't have to, And
of course, like if you have a good relationship, that's fine. Like, but I had some like not so good potential donors, and then they would like promise me one thing and kept me hanging and didn't follow through, and that can be very frustrating. I think they don't realize like how sick we are, and they really need to like be serious before committing. I understand that they're allowed to like say no, like even the last day, but I think it's important for them to realize like how sick someone on dialysis is. I think some people just don't realize it, and then
you're right.
if they make this decision, like think about it, talk to your family. Don't like, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then next day say no, I don't want to do it. That can be very frustrating for someone who's very sick.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what about you, DeAngelo?
Say that again.
Oh, I was gonna say, what about you, DeAngelo? Did you experience any similar experiences with donor candidates?
No, but I had people that said they would donate, and I never heard back from them and stuff like that. So I mean, I took it with a grain of salt. I never took anybody seriously until they actually like came back with like some test results or something. So I mean, talk is a good game. So you can tell me all day you're going to donate, but until you do it, I really don't believe it. So I really didn't hold any water in that. And then that was really it. I was just focused on getting a kidney any way I could, but not bartering or selling myself or anything like that to get it. But I was really like just focused on well enough to where my test came back clean, to where if I could get a kidney as fast as possible, that would be the best thing. And that it actually ended up happening. So I can't ask for nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Did you have living donors try to test for you?
Yes, I did. I had one actually just decide that she just didn't want to do it, and I never heard back from her again. But I mean, it just comes with the territory. I mean, I got told this from my mentor: you can't get excited until they're rolling you in the OR. That's when you know it's about to happen, because anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, you can.
And that's
very true.
Looking like to have someone else on the list, like anything can happen. So right now, I don't think. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say they'll test your blood at the hospital, and they'll like send you home when you're in pre-op. So I mean, until you're actually in that operating room, it can always turn around and they'll send you back home at any minute. So yeah, don't get excited until you're in there and giving you anesthesia and all that good stuff.
Yep.
I really like my wife. I'm sorry.
my wife got the call here in Abu Dhabi for her transplant, and they said, "Look, you're a match. You need to get on the next plane, smoking, out of there, and to come here to Boston." So we had to get her booked on a flight on the next thing, smoking. She was flying out there. I left, a day later because of extenuating circumstances. Long story short, when she arrived there, after a long journey of, flying from here, JFK, Boston, she had to do dialysis, right? And she still was in disbelief of the fact that this was going to happen. And when they were wheeling her into the operating room, she turned to him and asked him, "Where are you taking me?" And "We're taking you into transplant, ma'am." And she says, "This is really happening?" So, but there's some truth. There's kind of some truth to that. I mean, when you go through so many countless, donor candidates and Jonathan touched on it, and so did DeAngelo. Look, it's a numbers game, so it's important to have as many people come forward as you possibly can, because anything can happen. Even in pre-op, as DeAngelo said, right? Or just before they're wheeling you into the operating room, anything can happen.
Right.
Yep.
So my current donor is from California. I met her through Facebook. I really like her. Like, I just talked to her on Facebook, and she seems like a very nice person. I don't know her personally, but talked to her on Facebook. But she's in California, and it's taking a longer time to test. Like, I think it has been like almost 3 months now of testing her.
Yep.
And if she qualifies, then they're planning to fly the kidney. We don't know yet, they're still testing her, but if she does qualify, they plan to fly it.
That's how my kidney got to me. Was my kidney came from Kentucky all the way to San Antonio, Texas. So they, as a matter of fact, there was a glitch in the flight. I was supposed to get transplanted around, I think, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. After I got to the hospital at 6 a.m., the night before, they called me at midnight. They said, "Be at the hospital at 6 a.m. I didn't get any sleep at all. And I tossed and turned all night because, I was nervous and excited. And then they got me prepped. And then about 1 o'clock, they came into my room and said, "There's been a delay where your kidney didn't make it on the flight, or when something happened. We're not going to be able to transplant you until about 7 in the evening." So, I got a little bit nervous at that point because I was like, "Oh man, is this going to happen, or what's going to happen?" But I ended up getting the surgery later on that evening. But these are the type of things that can happen. So.
So you both had from a deceased donor, right? Most of you.
Yeah, that's correct.
My kidney.
Statistically,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, statistically speaking, a lot of from what I've read, a living kidney donor kidney will last longer, and that's why people aim to receive a living kidney donor kidney. But yeah, it's not like you're going to turn down a cadaver kidney when it comes your way, right, guys? I mean,
oh no.
As long as you work out and stay healthy, you should be fine. I mean, the longest kidney,
and have a healthy diet, right?
60 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the longest kidney transplant lasted 60 years. So I mean, you can definitely get the life out of a kidney if you really take care of it, take care of yourself, and do what you're supposed to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. It's all about being proactive, staying engaged with your team. If you see anything happening, don't wait. Don't sit around and just let it linger. Contact your transplant team and talk with them. It's all about staying engaged and taking care of yourself. That's the main thing. So, but it sounds like you're like that.
Yeah, you don't care what time or day it is. You call the people you need to call your team, and they'll be on it. They're there for you. That's what you got to make sure you stay diligent about that.
Right. Speaking of calling, DeAngelo, if you all notice, there's a phone number up here behind me, and it's also behind Jonathan on his left, right? That phone number is a phone number to call to be a living kidney donor for Tatiana.
Yep.
Ask yourself, are you healthy? Are you willing or are you able to be a kidney donor? If the answer is a resounding yes, make that phone call, folks. If not, the other way you can help out is to hit the share button and to help us help Tatiana by spreading this message and disseminating it all over Facebook.
Yes.
And from what I have been like researching about living donors, they are fine. And I have known like a couple that have donated to someone else, and they are living a healthy life, and they're doing very well. I think sometimes people are just like have wrong perception and they're afraid of it. They think like they will die or they will like have, some trouble. But
Yeah.
from what I've read and the people I know, they all are doing very well. And I think like if you're a living donor, if you ever need a kidney, you will be on top of the list. And kidneys like just such delicate organs, like even a virus can destroy kidneys, So like in a way, they will like get the benefit. If anything ever happens to them, they'll be on top of the list. And it's kind of going back to what we talked about, when we do something good for others, good comes back to us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what you said. It's like people don't know. So I mean, the education's not readily available. I think that's why. I mean, I'm not speaking for Jeffrey or Jonathan, but I think that's why this movement was started, to get that education out there, let people know that it's not as bad as it sounds or what they make it look like in movies or on TV or things like that, or horror stories that you may have heard and things like that. That is actually a pretty clean process and a pretty easy well, not an easy process, but a pretty easygoing process considering what you're doing. You're actually giving life to someone that's not your baby. So I mean, just getting that education out there to everybody about kidney failure, what it can do, how it can be caused, and how we can actually get transplants to people and help them extend their lives. I think that's the mission here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. It's a way of bringing kidney donor awareness, kidney disease awareness to the masses.
Hey,
so please share, people. Please share.
Yes, please share. Please share. Hey, Tatiana, if you had a message that you would want to send out to a potential donor, would you like to send a special message out there to someone?
Just like the same thing that I really believe, and I try to exercise this in my life too, like whatever good we do for others will always come back to us, and it's like donor or no donor, that's just the message, and to the donor, of course, like that's, saving someone's life. I think it's huge in heaven's records, because I think heaven keeps the records of everything. And saving someone's life is a very huge, good record. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, God bless you, Tatiana. I can tell you this much, that I will do all that I can. We will do all we can to help you on that journey to find a living kidney donor.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You're welcome.
So,
well, guys, I really appreciate my co-host Jeff Brown coming on and doing this interview with me. He's up awful early. We want to let him get back and get some rest for his day today. And I really appreciate DeAngelo Crawford for coming on and being a co-host as well, man. I've really been appreciating you with the advocacy work that you've been doing with us. I hope you'll stay with us and continue to do these shows with us.
Oh, no problem.
And Tatiana, God bless you. We're going to continue to pray for you and share for you. Guys, anyone out there that's watching this broadcast, if you want any more information at all, please visit Tatiana Needs a Kidney on Facebook. Again, down below is her phone number, scrolling by, the transplant coordinator. and her name. If you do call the transplant center, please mention her name, Tatiana Tagirova.
And Jonathan,
yes, sir.
Do you have like the names of all the different Facebook pages that we're a part of too? Maybe you can put those in there too, so if people want to just join different pages and maybe can spread the word about those as well.
We advocate for a lot of different people. There's Brian Olivas needs a kidney. Chris's quest for a donor. A kidney for Christine Ann Hernandez.
Well, what I was talking about was like the Facebook pages like kidney donor awareness and things like that.
Oh, sure. You talking about our group pages that we deal with? Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff has a page, I believe, with Jared, right? Or is that just Jared's page? Kidney donor awareness.
Yeah, it's a group, kidney donor awareness group. It's a great platform. It's a great platform. There are a lot of people that are members of that group that support each other. Tatiana, if you ever need to go there to speak with other kidney warriors, or those are the warriors that are members of that group that are either post transplant warriors or pre transplant warriors, and there are people that automatically, when they see a post arrive in that group, share it. We have some share monsters in that group.
Yep.
And I love the group because sometimes what I like to do when a post is not receiving the reach or the audience that it needs, I like to share it to that group, and it gives it a welcome boost and catapults it to getting reach that it deserves.
Okay.
Yeah,
and this interview, could you please post this interview on my Facebook page so like my friends can see it too?
On your personal profile account?
Mm-hmm.
We can share it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, if you do Tatiana needs a kidney, then I can repost. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, guys, again, I really appreciate you coming on, Tatiana. God bless you, and we'll continue to share for you. Okay. And
and I wish you well too. Like to recover, continue to recover well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Do you have anyone out there that you'd like to say hello to or goodbye to?
I don't think I saw any of my friends. Like I forgot to post on my page that we were going to have an interview.
That's okay. It's everywhere right now. We're streaming live in a lot of different locations. So
we're actually on several pages. YouTube. You have it on Twitch, Jonathan. You have it on YouTube,
Twitter.
But we have it on several pages. Basically 7 different platforms.
Yeah, so it'll definitely get viewed. It's not about the numbers while people are watching, but it's usually the after watch. But again, I appreciate you doing the interview, and I appreciate my co-host guys. And again, it's been another interview with Hope with Jonathan. I really appreciate all the likes and support, and please share this. And for more information, you can go to Tatiana Needs a Kidney. And this is going to conclude our show for the evening. Again, guys, y'all take care. God bless. Stay safe. And remember to take care of your kidneys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
God bless.